I'm here with Arrow, bot laner for Phoenix One, and he's going to be doing the interview in English. So first off, thank you very much, Arrow.
Yeah, hello guys, thank you very much.
So I'm going to ask you about the Callista and Draven. So why did you play these two champions today? Because they're very different than what we know you for playing.
Before games, I played about 6 games easier, so I think they're gonna pick easier. Then I need to ready for against easier champion. So I wanna something not in meta, something different champion because easier is if enemy is easier champion, I can use anything AD carry. So it's my opinion. So I just ready that champions, and then I think they in Scream they not played against Kalista or the Raven, so I played.
Nice. So you had a little edge there coming in because maybe they didn't play against him, and you could play pretty much anything into Ezreal, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. So second up, I want to ask you about Stunt, your new support. What's it like playing with this rookie?
It's you mean my opinion to Stun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his attitude his attitude is so good, and then he finds something like before. For example, if today's match is Immortals, and he finds something solo rank accounts, Immortals solo rank accounts, and then watch the video Immortals, and then he know his jungle pathing. Yeah, yeah. So I like his attitude. Yeah.
So he's a very hard worker.
Yeah,
So he's
very hard worker.
nice. So he's bringing a lot to that team. And so you guys, there's going to be a lot of practice in the future because right now you're third place, and next week you're going up against first place TSM and second place Cloud9. What are your thoughts on those top two teams? Final question, Arrow.
Uh, it's maybe. Oh wait. C9 seems like little bit. Yeah, a little bit not hard seems like, but because he looks like they teams uh, against the. I cannot remember that, but yeah, he seems like. But they have a potential team, so I think they are strong team both. So I just, even though they show it's not good uh stage, but I wanna not develop, not downgrade. So I wanna play focus on back 100%.
Are there any players on those teams that you look forward to facing?
Other team.
Yeah, on both TSM or Cloud9.
Mm. So except the TSM and C9.
No, those two teams, yeah. Those players on those teams. Do you look forward to playing against any of
Yeah,
them?
just in solo rank game, I met Smith. Yeah, I think he's a good mid laner. So I wanna versus TSM play against Viox in team fight. If I wanna see he can kill me, or I can kill him, or I wanna check it, and then I wanna play against the C9 Sneaky. I think he's good AD carry. So and then he tried Kog'Maw, but even though he lose, I think he's trying is so good. So if I pick Israel, I think they're gonna pick Kog'Maw. So I think I need to think about that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Arrow, for the interview. Congratulations as well on the victory there. Now, we're going to throw it over to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Zarian, and thank you, Arrow, for the English interview as well. It's always hard having to come into that on your second language, but props to you for being awesome. And I want to talk about the fact that, hey, Phoenix One did come down with the win. You got the graphic to support it right there. I'm not made a liar.
I totally forgot. Thanks.
Wow,
Yeah.
the Arrow interview just completely threw me for a loop on that one, obviously. Now, P1 did well, but I thought Champ Select, and you did as well, that Champ Select was really interesting. And we didn't get to cover it in game one, I don't believe. Or no, we did,
Not
sorry.
too much, though.
But I want to talk about the fact that, hey, okay, Zach is coming through, and though they lost, Immortals are clearly saying, hey, we want to sort of let you / force you to pick Zach at the end of your first pick phase.
Right. So with the Olaf and the Elise bans, you're taking out two of the things that, Meteos wants to play, and you wonder, why not ban the Zach as well and totally force him out of his champion pool? Well, the good thing is when you do two bans, you know he's going to take that Zach most likely in the first rotation, especially after you already grab your jungler, or you can even hold it if you want to, like they did in the second game. The first game, they took it away. And it kind of makes them sweat a little bit. We're like, oh, what if they continue banning junglers against Meteos and they push him onto his 5th best champion? So you see that kind of pressures P1 into taking the Zac early. I'm sure they don't mind too much because we heard that Arrow did have a counter pick prepared, assuming that they were going to take the Ezreal. But it does seem a little sketchy that you can basically guarantee one of the 3 picks that you know P1's going to take in the first round.
Right, so it allows you to do things like you receive the Nautilus ban, you ban the Shen, and you know you get an uncountered Rumble pick, essentially, where it's like, well, we know you're going to grab Zac at the end, and Rumble normally has some bad matchups you can kind of pick into, but it's like, well, we can guarantee we can grab this, then we can toss the bans in to make sure it works well. You see that Kled ban kind of aimed in there to make sure we can't grab that earlier on, and he gets, a pretty playable matchup into the Jace, which seemed to work okay for him. They saw it already, and Flame honestly had a pretty good game there, and I think that makes it an interesting champ select strategy.
I think the fact that Zig does have that flexibility to take the Jace though does help, because otherwise, while you said it's mostly an even farming matchup for the both of them, it can be worse if he's forced onto a tank that has to play in the Rumble, and then a Rengar ult's coming in at 6. And I think the fact that they were able to flex the Jace was really important. And then you get to that Draven pick, and it's definitely not what I would expect to see Arrow on. I do like the idea that they're trying to exploit what they expect the enemy to do, knowing that he's been first picking Ezreal, they're going to take it away from me, and then I'm going to have a counter prepared. I like that idea. It just didn't look super good in either of the games.
Right, he said he played 6 games which is somewhat low. Maybe that was 6 scrims, which is
I think you're saying six games of Ezreal in a row almost.
Oh, yeah, okay, he's saying because I played Ezreal, I'm playing this new things. I couldn't quite tell if he's like, I've played 6 Draven games, and that felt pretty good.
No, so, I believe he was saying he played 6 Ezreal games in a row, so he knows they're going to take it against him, and then he wanted to have a counter prepared.
That's fair, but yeah, it's interesting because, of course, last week they were playing in 7-4, so they had kind of this week of practice. And again, I always want to give credit to people who bring new things out. We had a Draven earlier. Maybe it was Challenger Finals, I'm forgetting, but...
Doublelift played one as well.
Yeah, Doublelift played, that's right, yeah. So, I always like seeing the new things, and obviously there were moments that worked well. There was the Callisto where he's like, go, face check this rush for me, I'll pull you back if anything goes wrong. Like, there's definitely some nice things. And again, his point was, we don't think they've played against these champions very much, so we should have an edge of them not maybe knowing the matchup as well. And that's always good. I think that is a positive.
Right, and like I said, I like the idea. The problem is that it did feel like P1 was a little slower going in the early game, and especially in game 1 where the Kalista was almost getting snowballed on. If the Rengar was able to make one more successful gank that wasn't punished because Meteos was there to cover it, if that goes a little bit worse, you kind of get destroyed. And a similar thing in this game as well. Like if the Draven dies too many times and doesn't get off the ground, he was able to pick up a kill, I think around like the 15-20 minute mark.
Yeah, with 1 death, but like he got a fair amount of gold out of it.
Right, so but the problem is if you get that 2nd death, then you're mostly shut down as the Draven. So it was very close to being a lost game for P1 because they were down for about 2k gold at that point in the game before mostly Ryu started dragging them back into the game.
Yeah, I agree. We have first up a replay of a big team fight win for Phoenix 1. This game was close to be almost the entire way through, but this one ends up being a 5-for-2 in their advantage.
And you see Flame off on the side here trying to get the flank. It forces them into that choke point. This is a great rumble, and it looks like it's going to be a great fight. Unfortunately, the Orianna Shockwave does only hit Zig, and P1 still has a lot of damage threats to be able to turn this, as well as being ahead in this at this point. So you see Ryu come in, able to get a lot of damage down. And it's looking pretty rough, but Ryu is able to do a lot for them here.
Yeah, repeated shields at a stunt as well. Honestly, the shielding support's always so good as fights break down. And Meteos himself, triple kill to start it out. He's got 3 of the 5 himself, and then comes in to make sure number 4 and 5 comes through as well. The quadruple for Meteos is obviously pretty big. And again, maybe you really have to put that 3rd ban down because he clearly is working on the Zac. It's something you have to kind of debate, right? Is really how bad is number 4 or 5 or 6 for him?
Right, and that's the question. We don't know that P1 does, so maybe they are like, oh my god, we have to grab the Zac because otherwise we're in trouble. Or it's just like, well, we still really like Zac, let's just grab it here and get some counter picks later in the game.
Yeah.
Either way, obviously, P1 does come back into it at around that 25-minute mark, and it was close, but it did work out for them. And I'm a little concerned if someone takes this blueprint, who's a better team, and applies it to P1. That would be, I'd be getting a little worried.
Sure. Of course, Immortals, we know, are a solid mid-pack team. P1 generally better than them. Yes, they come out with the win, but you're right. Close games that could have been won by maybe a stronger piloted team. Want to give player of the game honors to Ryu for this one. His Ahri, I think, almost single-handedly kind of brought them back into the game. You can see that scoreline very, very good. Lots of damage as well. It did feel like Arrow's Draven was a bit underwhelming, was a bit low on damage, and Ryu just kind of topping the charts there.
Yeah, it did feel like, I mean, we always talk about Ryu being a big playmaker for P1. He is a little hit or miss at times, but this was definitely a game that he was on point. He picked off Ezreal in the bot lane, picked off Orianna in the top lane, and without those kind of pickoffs, giving his team space to work with, it did feel like Immortals comp was really good and had the ability to kind of snowball, but that kept them in the game long enough that the better shot calling that we see out of P1 came through.
Yeah, well, EU mid laners reigning supreme once again. I guess Kappa.
It's in some way.
EU mid laners, Kappa. Either way, props to Ryu for a very well played game. But now it's going to be it for us covering this match. Don't go anywhere, of course. There is more League of Legends on the way as Team Envy faces off against Cloud9 after the break. See you there.
They're fighting, get ready. Help arrow. I'm running.
Oh, I'm dead. It's okay.
It's okay, let's kite it. We might still be, Ringer flash in, kill Ringer.
Kiting. Rumble no flash. Rumble join out. I'm gonna kill here. You okay? Help you, it's good. No zone. Kill him. Karma ori no flash. Slowly, ori no flash. Oh my god, Ryu, no! You got it, good job! Ryu,